Yo, what's up guys? It's Pi, you see the Crypto Pi, and today we're going to be talking about a little bit about Bitcoin and then about altcoins and when I personally take my stops, right? So, yeah, let's get into it guys. Alright, so start with Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin here? Well, it's just going sideways still, right? And a lot of people asking me as well, like, can I do an Elliott wave on this? Well, guys, the thing is, when things are not trending, so just going sideways, using Elliott wave is not the best strategy that you have. Your best strategy is honestly just having one support and one resistance, and that's it. Because you're simply in a range, right? I mean, over here we could have obviously used it because it looked like it was a pump, right? But then it just went sideways. So yeah, in sideways consolidation, the best thing you have is just support and resistance. So you know, our support is down here at 6.1 to 6.2, right? And we basically right now this support here is just above this support here. So if we can hold that, that's very bullish. All right, so let's take a look at the 4 hour as well. This needs to go up, right? 6 hour, 8 hour, 10 hour, but it's still crossing down. So could it go a little bit further down? Yes, it could easily. Don't panic though, guys, right? I don't want you guys to panic. I mean, yes, it can definitely fall down in this area here, and I mean that'd be an absolute great buy. All right, that is how simple it is on Bitcoin right now. When do you need to worry? Well, you need to worry if we actually make a lower low and we close below this candle, right? Actually close, right, guys? You see the wicks. We can definitely have more wicks like this all the way to 6K. But if we close down there, even on the 1 hour, it seems that's a bad sign, right? So we can have wicks, but we shouldn't close. All right. So you always need to wait patiently for the close. All right. So moving on, guys. Like I said, a lot of people said they got stopped out and stuff of things, and that's great to hear because that's risk management. But now I'm going, for example, over Ravencoin, right? So I got Ravencoin here. I put my Fibonacci on here, and I can only count a 1, 2, 3. So the 4, you know, should be around down here. But you know, I most likely wanted to see go down to the 618 down here, right? So actually that will be all the way down here then, or on the right. But so when is this invalid? Where should your stop be? Well, you have a significant low here, right? This is more like a pump, but this is very significant. So if it goes lower than this, you could have a stop, right? Very simple. That's because that's a low. Yeah, that's actually the best stop you can have on this one. Alright, so let's say you bought here, you bought early, right? In my opinion, you shouldn't have position sized yourself big yet. If you did, you made a big mistake, right? Because you cannot add more. You could have simply added more here since this needs to hold, right? If this doesn't hold, then you just stop out of your entire position. Or maybe you decide to stop out of partial. But, you know, I would stop out of my entire position. And that's, for example, on the Raven, right? On Doc, same thing. Well, where would you stop be, guys? It needs to be all the way under here because this is your low. So if you entered here based on the 618, well, guess what? You have a stop of like 20%. So I hope your position size isn't too big. Now, if you, I mean, so some people say, I need to put my stop just under this, right? So you entered here, then you see it going down here, then it goes up a little bit. So then you're like, okay, I'll put my stop under this. Well, guess what happened, guys? You got stopped out right there. So that's kind of the way it is, right? Technically speaking, your stop should be under the previous low. It's just how it is. So Phoenix, well, actually, I cannot do it here. Well, actually, Phoenix, you don't really have a previous low. So this is actually a very good risk to reward because even if you would enter here, your stop would be under there, right? Because this is basically your low. I mean, this is where it started. So yeah, this is your low. IOTX. So guys, where do you think your stop needs to be, right? Your stop needs to be under this low, right? Let's say you bought at the 618, right? So over here, Your stop needs to be all the way down here, because that's the low. So that's why you don't position size yourself all the way, right? Now, if you did do that, that's fine, because the 618 nearly always bounces, right? You could have still had yourself a good 5%. So 5% is not bad on your entire balance, guys. You have to keep that in mind. And we definitely did go from 618 to the 0.5, which is a thing that occurs over and over and over and over again, right? So that is something that happens a lot, right? So, but this, you see this bouncing at right now at 786 instead of the 618. So, right, that is basically how I see that, right? So yes, I scaled in a little early here, for example, right? I scaled in around 61865. Where will I buy more if it goes lower? Well, the 886, because I'm not that big position yet, guys, right? I'm very well aware that the real support line is down here, right? You can see it just holds for a long time. So definitely at the 886 I have some more orders, but if we don't get there, it's fine, right? This where my sell orders are, it's that simple, right? I definitely need to drag this one a little bit. So that is how I do that, guys, right? That's how I see where I can put stops, etc. So right now, obviously, since we're bottoming out, you can always change your stop. Right now I could put it under here, you know, and that is just how it is, because it simply made a new pivot point here, right? I wouldn't do it yet, but if it goes a little higher, yeah, of course you do it, because that's just to secure yourself less of a loss, right? That would be a 10% loss on the small position size instead of a what is it, like a 20%, right? So you do need to look at your pivot points, and you know, that's kind of how you do it. Now, if someone were to go in under the 6.5 with all in, well, then you have a big problem, right? Because where is your plan, right? You need to have a plan. And stop should always be, you cannot put the stop, say like, yeah, you know, I'm willing to lose a max of 5%. That is so dumb, because let's say, right, you entered the 618 and you be like, oh yeah, I'm willing to lose 5%. Okay, so another loss trade. The stop should make sense, right? They should be based on actual pivot points. So this was a pivot point because we obviously popped up there. Right now we're curling, which is a good thing as well. So once again, MTL. I definitely bought in this buy area, guys, that I talked about before. So I got filled in this green area, that's for sure. Well, you know, I'm happy because obviously we're going up again. And guys, once again, the daily is still looking very, very, very nice on this one, right? Just look at it, right? This could be your A, this could be your B, this could be your C, right? It's that simple. So, and after that you get consolidation, and guess what after? Well, then you get a pump. So this is a longer term trade, obviously, but the first target's at 131%, second at 450, then 625, and then 1500, right? So that's also kind of how I look at it, right? It's definitely a longer term play, but it's always on my list. So then we have ARN. So let's say you entered ARN, right, guys? And you entered at the 0.5, because this is your first, this is the first thing I look at, right? I don't really look at a 382 because the market's too bearish for that. So I look at a 0.5, and let's say you entered here. Well, guess what? Then you get a pump, so you can either take your profit already, or you can move your stop, at least move your stop under the pivot point, right? Because this is a pivot point after a pump, right? RDD and self key. Well, guess what, guys? If you bought here at the 618 and you only see this right now, right? You still only have this red candle. Where can you put your stop? Well, it needs to be all the way under this pivot point, right? It's that simple. Once again, if you didn't do that, let's say you got filled here at 618, right? And you're like, okay, I'll put it just under the 6.5. Well, guess what? You got stopped out here. It's that simple, guys. You will get stopped out after stopped out after stopped out. So you do need to take some risk, but I mean, if you get a lower low, then at least you know that the trend is changing. Okay, so I mean, right now, if you just stayed in the trade, it made perfect sense because you're going up again. And always assume, guys, another thing, always assume not a higher high, but you know, a lower high, right? So around here or something, and that's still a good trade, right? So if you assume that, and you don't sell it all because you don't know if a higher high will come, but at least you sell a chunk, right? A good chunk, and you make yourself 16%. It's that simple, guys, right? So don't always just immediately take your stop loss. Remember, guys, altcoins are not like on Binance. We don't trade margin, so you can hold, right, until you actually see a low. If you were to do that on the margin trade, obviously you get liquidated or something happens, right? You cannot do that often. At least often is that case, right? But with trading on Binance, you can. So just position size yourself not too big, so you can add more if it goes lower, and you're happy if it goes lower because you can add in some more. All right, that's just a big tip I can give you today. So I hope that helps, guys. Also, join up. You know, I have a Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Pygos, and you can check all the tiers there yourself and check which tier fits you. And if you want to support me, you know, go ahead, become a patron. All right, I love my 2 patrons. They can always PM me on both Telegram and Discord, and of course they can send me a message on Patreon itself, and you know, I'll respond as soon as I can regarding the message or the benefits that they have. So if you have some charts, guys, because I know a lot is going on, so if you do have some charts, the best way to reach me is either through Telegram or Discord, right? I do check that every day. If you do send me a message on Telegram, be sure to also mention in the CryptoPies blog real quick that you sent me a message or something, because, well, frankly, in my Telegram, I have a lot, right? I'll just show you guys, right? A lot going on. So it's really hard to spot your message there. So if you do say it in the CryptoPies blog, I can just quickly search it, right? It's that simple. So, yeah, that is what's going on there, right, guys? Well, following that, actually, you know, if you're not in the CryptoPies blog yet, join up with the CryptoPies blog so you can ask me any questions, you can ask other people questions, and it's just a great chat box to be in, right? Let's see what's going on here. So we have a chart here, it's the B wave. So we have Genesis Fish in here as well, 382 bounce. I wouldn't have played that, but hey, whoever did, nice play. I don't play 382 at the moment, guys, it's too risky. Horizontal tunnels, volume. Bitcoin finally makes a move. This is a very long-term trend line, and indeed, guys, this trend line could very well play out, right? And that is around 4,500 at the moment, and that is something that you do need to be aware of, because that's a very, very, very long-term trend line. But look at also the highs, right? That means that next time we go well above $100,000. So just keep that in mind, guys, right? Keep the bigger picture always in mind. Nice one there. Then we have key Bitcoin here as well. So this is also definitely a trend line. So, but guys, you know what I think about diagonal lines, right? They definitely have less significance than horizontal lines. It's simply because horizontal lines have both the Fibonacci and they are simply support and resistance, right? So that's why I put more weight into those. Yeah, so join up with that, guys. Also, join up with the CryptoPies feed where I post all my videos, post about upcoming ICOs. When I find an ICO, I'll tell you guys about it to whitelist for it. But at the moment, don't expect any ICOs from me because both Ethereum and NEO are still very low priced. But what I do look for in ICOs, of course, a low token metrics, so a low market cap, so it's easy to flip, and of course I look for a strong team. I also look for infrastructure projects such as blockchains and protocols because they simply outperform all the other categories, right? Also follow me on Twitter, which is twitter.com/Pygos, and follow me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Pygos. Both telegrams will be in the description below, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit that post notification button, and if you got any questions at all, leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.